10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is now time for the Indie Live Spot right here on your station GHP Radio, your independent music source.
up my heart to you. Nothing in return for me. What am I supposed to do for love? Last night I tossed and turned, dreaming when we first kissed. Your touch was so tender for love. I long to see you face to face. No one can take your place. What am I supposed to do, baby? Oh, what am I supposed to do for love? Whenever you're around, I know the sun will shine and light up my lonely heart for love. I cherish the thought of you, but do you the same for me too? What am I supposed to do for love? I long to see you face to face. Wrap me inside your embrace. Tell me, baby. What am I supposed to do for love?
What are we talking about? My dad had some lady running after him.
Tell me, baby. Show me, baby. I need to know what I have to do. I long to see you face to face.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Indie Live Spot right here on GHP Radio. So sorry about all the technical issues we had at the beginning of the show. I don't know what was going on. Something on the computer was trying to cause a crash, and I was able to reboot and get us back on. But we're not gonna think about that. We're gonna try to have see if we can have a hopefully no more technical issues. I hope not. But anyway.
So there won't be. The devil is a.
I don't know what was going on, but anyway, we are here and we're very excited because today we have a music guest today, returning. It's been a little bit, but she is back with us today. Marcia Mitchell's in the house.
Hey,
Welcome.
Marcia. Did you guys hear that? She couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. I made it look like the Brady Bunch, so I had to say that. That is so sweet. That is so sweet. Hi, everybody.
Hello. How you doing today?
GHP Radio, I couldn't wait to be here, actually, because this is family in more ways than one. So, welcome, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Yes, so, Marcia, how you been?
I've been hiding.
Yeah, we know.
Our context, guys, this is so embarrassing. Oh boy, just pretty much hiding. You know, you have to deal with life in the midst of this, la la land called the music business, the music industry. And life just kind of takes over. So you guys, I'm great. Everything is amazing, but I am on the go. So that'll explain the hiatus.
Well, I tell you what, Marcia, I'll say Marcia.
I love it.
You'll never have to worry about America's Most Wanted finding you.
So should I apologize now?
That's a
wait.
That almost went over my head. I got it. No, if I thought there was something wrong, there was no way I would joke about it. So, listeners, Marcia's not in trouble. She's an awesome musician, vocalist here. Talk about music.
Yes, indeed. And of course, now before our listeners or viewers basically might be wondering why come we can't see Marcia, but I think Marcia, you have some issues with your camera. Is that what it is?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes.
But we do have a little picture stamp of you standing in a little oval doorway there, so just to kind of represent you. So just to let everybody know.
Full representation, guys. Photoshop to show the cheekbones, but that's about it.
Now, when we was talking in the, when we was talking in the back, you were saying Michael Basin said what to you about what?
Oh, actually, he put up a general post, because he has a lot of female followers, so many of them, and I don't have it verbatim, but the question was as to whether or not everyone of the followers actually look like the photos that they post up on social media. So these women are going into trying to prove, and there are headshots, there are full body shots. It just came out of the walls. I said, I'm going to stand back on this one.
I know, right?
Because, he has a point. He really does. Because not only is everyone else outside of the music industry involved in airbrushing themselves, or the entertainment industry in general, it's now open to the everyday person.
Right.
You get that cute little app out of your iPhone, and you put the smooth filter on it, and bam.
Check out. I've even on my editing software, I'm like, oh, my eyebrows weren't right. Okay, let me just But like I said off the air, if you're having professional photo work done, photography and everything, you sort of expect them to turn in something that's a little polished, because it may be you, but lighting, because my husband studied photography, and he said lighting is everything.
Yes.
And getting the room right, the lighting can make or break you. So
that's no doubt.
Because I've looked at pictures and I thought, ooh, am I that ugly? That really turned out horrible. But I've taken pictures of people I'm looking at. I'm like, what's wrong with this photo? Because he or she doesn't look like that. And he said it's lighting and all kinds of other things. And your filter might be dirty, or your lens might be dirty. It's just all kinds of things. So just
well, if you put a lot of light on you, such as spotlights, some of them spotlights just can wash you completely out.
Change your skin tone. Absolutely.
And everything, And, if you look at a lot of TV and you look at the videos and stuff like that, they make sure all that lighting, they got the curtains behind the lighting, and so it can really filter all that out. Yes. And then, they shooting up different kind of camera angles.
Yes, that's important.
Oh, it's very, very important. Then if you got your makeup on properly, that helps too.
But you know what? I want to hear about your music. We already know you're beautiful. I was not privy to the part of the time you were with us. So I know Gary has a list of questions for you. So, but I thought I'd just ask, just tell the listeners who have never heard you before and are hearing you for the first time, who is Marcia or Marcia Mitchell?
Guys, I have been doing this for a very long time. I get that question, Joyce, all the time. And it's a big world. It's small, but it's big. So when you are, I won't say trapped, but I'll say when you're focused on a specific area of the states, and you're in the sector that I'm in, which is, we call it the private sector, private social sector. So you're behind closed doors and closed walls, only privy to those guests that are on the guest list. So I've been doing this for years, just not out in public. And being in the recording studio allows you, once again, to do it behind the scenes. Many people were following my career, and maybe there were people that were in those particular audiences that would say, well, where can we see you outside of this event? Can we see you, somewhere on a street corner? And I would say, well, and I'm still answering that question. I don't do public performances. I mean, never say never. It's coming. It's very much coming, but the private sector is holding down the bag, let me tell you. And so, that leads to recording. Well, we can't see you, then we got to hear you. And here we are. Been doing this for years. There's a lot of material that's, if you key my name in, you'll run into some things other than what's being presented here recently. So.
And you know what? It's working for you. I say do you, because remember I mentioned off air about my BFF's sister who's a professional singer. She had the voice of Beyonce and everybody. And I said, well, when are you going to do your own album? When are you going to do this? She said, I don't want to. Because I love being behind the scenes. Stevie Wonder can call me and say, hey, can you come over? She said, the stars know me. She didn't even have to audition anymore.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but since she said it.
Yeah. See, and so that's why I'm saying I understand that if you have that. And yes. I was telling her before she passed away, and she was such a fighter. She fought breast cancer, won, and it came back, and missed her dearly. She sang a version of Amazing Grace that was so pure. It was just amazing. But she was never interested in being in the spotlight, although she had the looks and she had the sound, she had it all. But and they would call her to do jingles, and she got paid very, very well.
Bingo. I do work for a lot of celebrities, a lot of big politicians, the sports world. We can do this for days, and they do call me. That's a different paycheck. I don't mind being in the music industry, but there's so much that's going on that's out of your control. Even though they say the internet put us in control, there's still so much going on outside of your control. So I've been able to live a lifestyle that I wouldn't be able to live had I been officially in the music industry and signed by a label.
Right.
Yeah. So
do you?
I have an amazing lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. It is. And what was so amazing, we used to meet with her after she'd get us tickets like at the Janet Jackson concert or something. And I would just live, because I wasn't in music at the time, and I would just live vicariously through her. And she would share things, and I said, I'll just have to live, because right now I'm a mom with little kids, things like that. So what I see what you're doing is truly success. But where did it all start, your interest in music?
Well, a lot of us really can't help where we came from. So I made a comment in the chat room, and I said, well, you guys, I'm from the country. And somebody else said, nope, that would be me. I am from the country. And, we were born into religious families. So you had to sing. If they heard anything that sounded like anything, you had a microphone rammed in your face, and you were put smack in the middle of the church floor. And you better put on a show. Or I'm going to embarrass you.
Well.
So that was voluntary. You know what I'm talking about, Gary. Praise God.
Chris, are you ready?
Okay, so my mom Evelyn is listening, and she's probably crying by now, but that's how it was.
Yeah.
And But see, I'm a businesswoman by DNA. My DNA requires me to be a businesswoman. And when I realized that I could just call out numbers and people would pay it, that was the end of that.
Right.
Or yeah. I'm going over here now because this is where my life is going to prosper. So,
Now, don't you have a famous cousin, aunt?
I got there's a whole bunch of us.
You know, I know a lot of you Mitchells.
Well, the rest of the names. There's matter of fact, one that's not
I'm the country too.
Walker. You know her?
Yes.
Everybody got quiet.
She's amazing. She's in a whole different field, you guys, a different genre of music. Leona Mitchell served 19 seasons at the Met in New York, Metropolitan. Was signed to, I think it was Capitol. Amazing lady. So yeah, but there's quite a few of us.
Yeah, like I said, I know where you're from, and I'm from a small town, and my mom, when my mom was living, my aunt and all them, see, they know your cousin, your aunt, Leona.
That's really something.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
Where you from and where I'm from, we all intermingle and all of that, So.
Yeah.
Leona is opera.
Yes.
Opera.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a totally different genre.
Yeah.
And she was the top of the line. Actually, she's the top of the line artist and top of the line person. Individual. Beautiful lady.
Did she sing soprano? Did you sing soprano?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful lady.
Evelyn said that yes, she was laughing. I am. And then Jim goes, well, it has a little finger.
Well, that's Gia. Man, those songs, I don't know. That was a long time ago, though. Thank goodness gospel music has evolved the way that it has.
It has,
but,
hasn't it?
Again, like I said, once I realized I could start charging people, I think I was in my teens and sneaking into clubs, getting in because of the way I was built. No one would ask.
Tell the truth, shake the devil.
Yeah. Out there. And we'd get in, and they would have these talent shows. Now, this is, off the record.
Yeah, off the record.
None of the venues exist now, but, get a talent show and just sing Mickey Howard or something, and people would be screaming and money would be flying everywhere. And I said, okay.
Now we're talking.
Hey, that's all right.
Great. And, it wasn't very long after that at all, because my life was moving at 100 miles per hour, that I decided to, get serious about it. Now, a lot of people think that singing in bars or some street corner or, wherever you choose to go is the way to go. And I knew restaurants and lounges, and I'm not knocking it because, a lot of top names are in that venue. They're doing those venues, but I realized that I could have even more control of my career. And you have to at some point in life, you have to understand that the labels are not looking for you.
Right.
You're not 16, 17, 18 with a nose ring and a belly button ring and, something weird about you. They're not looking for
a tongue pierce.
You have to take control of your own life.
Yeah.
And just make those decisions on your own. So I said, okay. My dad says, if you're going to be, the person that sweeps the streets, make sure you're the best one that they ever had. So if this is your choice, you're going to have to be the best at it.
Yeah.
And I took that to heart, along with the entrepreneurial skills that we've been born with, and turned it into a business. And it's been the best thing my life has ever encountered. Being in control. So at now, the labels will call. They call now. There's nothing to talk about. They've been calling all my life. There's nothing to talk about.
That's great. I applaud that. That's a beautiful story. You know,
Since our voice here is independent artists, I'm throwing that out there. So go ahead.
Well, you know, as an independent artist, I said, you know, up and coming. I know what I did to become an instrumentalist. They will ask me, oh, how long did it take? And my thing is, when you see somebody playing very well on their instrument or singing very well, I know they've spent years. It didn't happen overnight. What would you tell someone who asks, how can I be as great as you in terms of your skill, your vocal skills?
I get questions about, can you teach me how to sing? And I would say in a nice way, in a truthful way, teaching someone how to sing is not possible. You can, however, teach technique, and you can administer exercises. There are many different things that will help that person come along. But I think when you take on a certain work ethic, you can overcome a whole lot of things. So you might not be the best vocalist, and admittedly so, on your own. You might admit it yourself. But then you'll figure out another way to make your act appealing. You may be an entertainer in general, someone that's charismatic, someone that knows how to put that act together or that show. So when the lights come on, it's okay that your voice might not be up to par. You've got a whole nother thing going for yourself. If you want this, you can have it. So I personally, I know I don't sound like, you know, Chaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, and all those people. We all have our place.
That's right.
You have your own tone, you have your own sound, and you need to hone your own craft. You can't hone someone else's craft. You know,
you know what I told him, Marcia, you know, I ought to tell him, get you some auto-tune.
Well, Ray.
I wanted you to have Marcia.
You're just unforgiving, aren't you?
Now, that's going to help him.
You should be the Simon. We should have us a panel when you be the Simon. I wouldn't kill anybody's dreams. If you want to do something, there's a way.
Well, you know,
some artists made it all the way to the Grammy stages without voices.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not hating.
Just saying. I tell people, you have to be disciplined and ready to go to work.
Yes.
You have to get yourself in a corner alone and just start. Record yourself, record and listen, and keep listening. Because I remember one lady, I was playing at a church, and she's playing flute. I was on sax, and she said, "Oh, I would love to play jazz, but I can't play jazz." I said, "Do you listen to jazz?" She said, "No."
Well, there you go.
You have to listen to it. You don't have a concept of jazz because you never spent any time with it. So now those of us who grew up with jazz and R&B and blues, it's in our psyche because it was part. But if you weren't raised with it, you can still get it by taking some time to go listen to it. Listen what's typical of this and that and the accents and everything. But then again, that takes time. So I think when people say, teach me how, they think it's going to be an overnight thing. It's not. No. You really need to go in the grind to get it. Even later in life, I tell people, because I didn't learn how to play flute until I was in college. I said, you can learn an instrument even later in life. You don't have to be 5 years old if you're willing to put the time and the grind in it. Did that rhyme? Oh, that's so cool.
Manifest just about anything. You can bring to fruition just about anything in the world. I'm going to just say, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Oh, you're sure right about that. I agree with you 100% on that. Anything that you do that you know that you can do it and bring it all to the fruition, that's the best thing. That's a good feeling.
Absolutely.
That's a very good feeling.
That's your fuel right there, because you're not in your own way. Like the lady said, oh, I wish I could do that. And you said, well, have you listened to it? Well, no, she's already defeated. She's defeated herself. So,
right. I want to play with Do You Really Want? You don't even listen to it. How many albums? Because I remember somebody criticized me for being nominated for Black Women in Jazz and Fine Arts Saxophonist of the Year. And it was in 2014. I actually won it that year. But the guy criticized me. He said it was a racist thing.
Oh, my.
He said it was racist. And I asked him, how many of my albums do you have?
Right.
Well,
Black Women in Jazz albums do you have?
Oh my goodness.
Well, what if a white man would say it? I'm gonna go for it. If you think that you guys are not recognized, but he didn't stop to hear the story behind it, is because one woman realized that Black women in jazz were at the bottom, and all she was trying to raise is to equal status, not to separate, not to discriminate.
No, to show
if you don't
gratitude.
Right.
Yes. Wow.
So
that's a good one.
But we're gonna let Gary get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Just looking
Wait a minute. Cause no one in the chat room knows about that, do they?
No, they don't.
Okay, Gary and I are somehow cousins somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody dipped their lips in the Kool-Aid. Something happened somewhere along the way, you guys. So cat's out of the bag. Here we are.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody invited that sweet potato pie.
Unbelievable. We're gonna let quote unquote cuz speak.
Oh. Well, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. You guys were doing just a great job. I was just making sure everything is gonna stay on par. Yes. I don't want any issues to happen. But I do want to say, Marcia, the new single, of course, we're gonna be playing that in a little bit. But just thought I'd ask you about that a little bit, as far as who helped you on that track there and produce it. And
wow, I think that was probably the biggest and best work of art that's been presented to me in my career. And that particular producer is a German man. So when you guys hear this track, you're just going to be floored from the talent that comes from what they say across the pond. His name is Fight, and it's spelled with a V as in Victor, E-I-T. His name is Fight Wren. Wren Music Productions out of Orlando, Florida. And Fight was one of those, well, now we have the term multi-platinum maker producer. He was one of those super producers from back in the day. He's got platinum albums with the Backstreet Boys, Justin Timberlake, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Jennifer Hudson. I can keep going. And he's just like Prince, sits down and plays every instrument on the planet. I'm like, did you just really just walk from the keyboard over to the bass? Did you just go from the guitar to the sax? I don't know which way he's going. The drum, I don't know which way he's going half the time. He's amazingly talented. And he put that work of art together, I Just Want to Dance, along with Jolyon Skinner. And Mr. Skinner is in the UK right now. He's a musician as well, songwriter, producer, bass player for Joe Thomas. So you guys have heard the song, I Want to Know What Turned You, that song by Joe. He wrote that. Jolyon Skinner wrote that. He's worked with Billy Ocean, Jonathan Butler. So I had, the success was already set up for me. And they said, wow, this is the second time this has happened to me. Marcia can sing this. Like, it's going to come out the way we need it to come out. And I was very grateful for that opportunity. And I just felt like it was going to push us a little bit further along than we are at this point. And again, I don't want to have my success measured by the fact that, maybe I'm not on a label, or you'll hear me on the radio all the time. I'm successful.
Right.
So I don't care whether you heard the song or not. Somewhere along the way, there's writer's rights, and there's the songwriter rights. There's royalties coming from left and right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If I'm front and center currently at that moment. And so That's how I operate. I'm sorry, I don't know what else
Well,
to say.
you know, everybody has their own. It seems like everybody has their own definition of what successful is. I mean,
Correct.
to me, successful means what makes you happy in doing what you do.
That's it.
So,
And doing people that that care.
that's right.
These people that care, people that are genuine, people that are talented, such as these individuals. They're loaning their talent to this project, to me. And I'm like, wow, this guy could have been anywhere else in the world today, and he's right here with me.
Marcia, say the songwriters present the music over to the Grammys and stuff like that, and you win a Grammy. What it'll blow? What would it do to you otherwise? What would you think?
Wow, there are many stories about that. I think the main thing that the Grammys does is provide visibility in terms of additional works of art. You can end on everybody else's album, just like Marcus Miller does or did. He's on everybody's recording. Everybody's recording. If you're thinking like he does along those lines, record, collaborate, write. Missy Elliott started that way. I can't think of the other boy's name right now. He's from Arkansas. I'll get it in a minute. But these artists came from the back to the front. So if you are making sure that your real estate is intact, then it doesn't really matter what the public sees out front. I've seen situations where there are people that have won Grammys and threw them in the back of the trunk of their car and rode around with it for 20 years till it rusted and never did another project. And they're not eating.
Right.
So I will say it's what you do with what you've been given, to be fair. I'm not going to knock the Grammy committee or the process as a whole. I'm a part of that. What you do with what you've been given will take you to the next level.
The Grammy, they don't owe you anything. You got the award. It's like you gave me a key to a luxury car. You don't owe me anything after that. And if I don't drive it, leave it in the garage, that was my, it's a key. And you get to the level. So, but I like how Smith, what's his name? Oh gosh, the actor Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah. How can I forget his name, right? And it was an up and coming actor said he loved his advice, and even though Will basically, I'm paraphrasing here. Will said, even though I've had these successful movies and they were blockbusters, I still start the hustle all over again. In other words, I don't, like you said, put it on the back seat and let it rust. He said, no, I got to start that hustle. In other words, yeah, I got this movie and this movie, but that's no guarantee I'm going to get another one and another one.
Nobody cares, to be quite honest.
That's true.
Frank. And then once again, here we go with these talented people that have terrible work ethic. Now everybody knows you don't show up on time, you have an attitude, your energy's bad when you walk in the room. Oh my God, he can play. He's the best musician we ever heard, but we can't stand him. So, Grammys you have. I don't care how many Grammys you have. Now, Neo is the name that I was trying to come up with. I couldn't remember it for the life of me. But these young people started behind the artists, and finally got the opportunity to be on the front of the screen. But they made their money, and they continue to make their money. They wrote for other people. So there's so many other jobs and positions behind the scenes in the music industry. And you have to decide.
Yeah, you have these quiet storms like Gary Fuston writing some outstanding music over and over and over again. I'd like to see your stuff come out more, Gary.
Wow. Thanks, Joyce.
Yeah, he stays on the grind. He stays on it.
I try. I try to do what times allow, Yeah.
My claims to fame is live performances. So I can sit in the studio and write all day and write all day and write all day. And because I don't, I run the office to Marcia Mitchell Music, but because I'm not at Home Depot punching a clock, you sit there, they're going to cut those lights off. So I took the recording and mixed it with the live performances and then turned it into a business. And bam, can't lose either way.
Right.
Yeah.
You wake up 9 to 5. When
Preach.
you get up, you on that grind, and at 5 o'clock you shut down the grind and you start it back the next day.
Marcia Mitchell Music, can I help you?
Boy, you know, that's wild. When they call and they think you the secretary, huh?
Well, the secretaries do answer the phones.
I do it.
And then it has to get handed off. But absolutely. And again, hey, no shame, because that's where my business knowledge began in corporate America. So I did have to answer the phone. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No shame in my game.
But you're doing it. Let me put you on hold. Let me get Miss Mitchell for you, ma'am. Hello. Yeah. I can just hear.
You got to.
Marcia, when you were talking about, as far as about the Grammys and stuff, because I remember several years back, Cyndi Lauper, you know how the prop arts, he comes in and asks questions and stuff after when they won and stuff, and she was holding her Grammy, and I can't remember who it was that was asking her, how does it feel, whatever, to have the Grammys, like, she's like, she's like, okay, it was okay, but it wasn't like her main goal for her.
Bingo.
She's like, okay, yeah, I was recognized, thank you, but, I loved her for that. So, but she's like, okay, she appreciated it, but that wasn't the main thing for her.
There you go.
That was not number one on her sights.
Yeah, there you go. I witnessed one artist give her Grammy to another artist. Mm-hmm. I can't remember, exactly which annual.
Brooks. Garth Brooks, who did that?
It was from a female to a female.
Oh no.
Gave the award to the other artist. Mm-hmm. Good Lord. I wish I could remember those artists.
Yeah. That one.
Out anyway.
Didn't she tell that artist she gave it to, say, I felt that you was deserving this more than I?
She precisely did in those words. And you know exactly who we're talking about now.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember their names.
I'll message it to you. But yeah.
Now
we have to have integrity now. Don't be laughing.
So since we're on this subject about the Grammys, it's kind of brought something to mind. I'm thinking here and listening to you guys talk about it. Now, I'm not a member of the Grammy, whatever they call it, the Grammys or whatever. Yeah. But is it right that the nominations and the winners and all that stuff, it's all done through just the members only?
Yes, you have to.
Do anybody know? I'm trying to understand.
Is it the Grammy board or the Grammy board? You pay a fee.
There are local.
Asked me to look into it, and I saw there was a fee. Mm-hmm. You pay a fee if you become a member, and you get to, for instance, if I like your music, I get to nominate your music to be in a Grammy pool.
Certain members get to do that.
Yeah. See, and that's what I'm kind of getting at. I'm trying to get at the real core of this whole thing, because if you just got to be a member and only members are only ones to vote people in, then what happened to the rest of the world? There's
a specific type of
bias. In other words, can it be biased?
Yeah,
I think it has the potential of being biased, or maybe because it's not like some awards where you submit your music and then they sit and they listen and they decide. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. And I'm going to take the bias out of it. Let's be practical. There are 7 billion people on the planet.
Right.
And everybody thinks their grandmother or so-and-so can sing. or that this person should be nominated. There would be no control whatsoever.
That's what I was going next, as a matter of fact. That's what I was going next.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can just vote anybody that you want. Obviously, this artist has to be assigned to a label and has to be, in the system. But there would be such a lack of control if there wasn't a board.
Right.
Board of directors or a voting members board or what have you. It would be out of control. We think the show is long right now. It'd be 10 hours longer.
Yeah, and that was my next thing to say. That then on the other hand, you have a whole lot of music out there, and you just simply can't get to them all.
No, it'd be out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see a lot of the independent artists, such as yourself, Marcia, Joyce, and Gary, and other artists such as like y'all, to win a Grammy.
Yeah, but they would want our music to be on the Billboard, so you would have to work on the music on the Billboard. You know what I mean?
There are many categories that are not exposed to the general public. There are many categories that are not acknowledged during the night of the show. Once again, the show would be too long. So they, as you know, there are many different events taking place during the course of the day, starting early in the morning. And there are artists that may not be well known that are winning these, or that are receiving acknowledgement for their work. And again, different categories for songwriting and for producing, and quite a few other literary and works of art as well. So it's what we don't see that completes it. Mm. Yeah.
But they used to announce it, a segment in the show when they would announce those awards that didn't make the main television show in that hour or two. And they have a running list. I haven't seen it lately, but I don't watch it like I used to either. So
times have changed. The music industry has changed, and you only have but so much time on television. So,
but they do. If you notice in the credits, they do run a lot of the artists that you don't see in the credits.
Yeah.
At the end of the show.
Now I've lost with that.
Absolutely. It's a big thing. It's there's a lot more than what we're able to discuss here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when Gary brought up the subject of your latest single, I just wanted to ask, I love this song.
Wow.
I love your other music too, but this one just made you shine big time for me.
Thank you. So this one started along the lines of being intended for steppers. Mm-hmm. So, and then it kind of picked up speed, and I was like, hey! It's moving a little bit too fast, but it was something that was not expected of me. Mm-hmm. And also there's a rapper on there, Fernand. Yeah. He's amazing. Actually, he's Hispanic, of Hispanic descent, and just overly talented. As soon as I heard his voice, I mean, people want to say, oh, that's passe, that's back in the day, Mariah Carey and all them singing along with the rappers. And I was like, well, just add one more to your list. I don't care.
Exactly.
I loved his voice. It was swinging just right, and it was not expected of me. Mm-hmm. And I'm fearless when it comes to most things. So I took that on, and it just, everybody was shocked. So thank you, Grizz. I really appreciate your compliment.
I loved it because it was different from what the other music that you've done before.
Yeah,
you've had a little bit upbeat stuff, but not like this. And I'm like, oh, I'm loving this a lot.
And then he turned around to do. There's an extended version of that song, so it's quite a bit longer, and it's getting a little bit crazy. I mean, like trap. The trap music style is in there, and house got mixed in, and funk got mixed in, and this just got kind of crazy. But then he went further. There is a trap music version. There is a reggae version. I'm going on for days, you guys.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So Gary's being nice by playing the version that you can keep up with.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it. So we can do some chair dancing. Come on.
Yeah, let's do that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that on, then let our listeners groove to it. And
Yep.
you might see some dancers a little bit later.
Well, wait a minute.
During the show.
The song is kind of a little bit. My mother would say fast, because I don't drop it like it's hot and all of that. But that impression, that's not me. Enjoy.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and do that, and of course we'll come right back. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here on your station, GHP Radio, live streaming on YouTube today, and of course every day or every week we do that. So,
Are you by yourself? I mean,
well, sometimes I do that, but
Yeah, he does.
All right.
Once in a while.
every once in a while I do. So anyway, we'll do that, and then we'll come back and chop it up some more with Marcia Mitchell. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Your loving's keeping me on a natural.
CC, Frankie Thoma. It feels good right here. Step, 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 step. Come on, baby, come on. Come on, baby, come on. It feels good right here. Put on my linens and my loafers and just step it out. 1, 2, side to side. Come on, come on.
I'm watching you, watch me from a distance, and I'm feeling you, feeling me. I like the way you move. I'm in the mood for dancing or whatever. It's up to you. The way you're moving on the floor. Can we dance, babe? Only makes me want you more. But your body yearning. It's me and you, one-on-one. Let's just step and have some fun. I wanna dance, dirty with you right now. I wanna dance, the groove feels so right. I wanna dance, been flirting with you all night. I just wanna dance, yeah, just dance. Just dance. 'Cause tonight I feel the vibe is right for me and
You see
you.
the look in my eye, I'm looking at you. On the dance floor, damn how you do what you do. Go ahead, push it back, moving slow. At this point, I don't really care, she know.
Wait a minute, boy. Tell your girl don't trip, 'cause we ain't about to creep. Really ain't that deep. It's just a dance, but a dance can turn to romance if we wanted to. It's up to me and you. The way you're moving on the floor. The way you move only makes me want you more. Only makes me want you more. But your body yearning. Let's just step and have some fun. I wanna dance, dirty with you right now. I wanna dance, the groove feels alright. I wanna dance, been flirting with you all night. I just wanna dance, oh, just dance. Just dance, 'cause tonight I feel the vibe is right for me and you. Down. Break it down. Dirty. Break it down. Dip to the ground. Dirty. You're on my back. I like that. Yeah. Break it down. Pull me in. Skin to skin. Twerk it for me. Don't just tease me. Touch my body.
Now I know what to do with this smile. You from the 305, go ahead, show me that 2-step side to side. Down south, we stunt while the girl do the grind. One night out of the week, we ain't got much time. At this rate, it can escalate, you know how I get. Then it won't be innocent sweat. Let me pay my check, grab your coat, and we'll be gone. And in the morning, CC gon' be singing my song.
Everybody, grab somebody. Move your body. Let's have a party. I just wanna dance. Just dance. Come on, just dance. Shine aside, shine out, get it down. Everybody dance. Come on,
Step to the side. 1, 2, step to the side.
I wanna dance. I wanna dance. I wanna dance. I just wanna dance like that. Get up, just dance right back.
Come on.
No one just dance. 'Cause tonight I feel the vibe is right for me and you.
Come on. I see you. 2, step to the side. 1, 2, step to the side.
We've been on all this
All
time.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and that was some great dancing music. That was Marcia Mitchell with "I Just Want to Dance." Of course, you probably saw a little dance
All the
activity.
dancers.
Oh boy.
Just that one guy.
Yeah.
When Joyce and I were sitting there doing this, you know.
Yeah.
Just doing-
Get that jam on. Come on. Hey. Oh.
Joyce is taking it to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, we picked it up a notch with GHP.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
That's
jamming
my
though. That was really jamming.
Stage too, so that was great. I love it.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It was so much fun recording that. It put you to the test because I had to sing in my natural voice. There was no room for any falsetto. It was just grinding, and I'm glad I have the octave range that I have, and that really made me feel good about myself and letting that go and letting that release come out. So, yeah.
Well, it came out, girl.
Yes, it did. Great job.
Look, touch my body. I got it.
Come on, baby, come on.
And the guy that was rapping, what's his name again?
Ando Diaz.
Ando?
Fernando.
Orlando. Okay. He was great. I enjoyed that too. So let him know how much we enjoyed his rapping as well. It's a great track.
I sure will. I mean, he sounded so much different from his appearance, and we tease him about it in private. But that voice, that's what caught me, and I said, "Oh yeah, I want to record with this guy." That tone was amazing, and once again, we all have those little things about us that put us where we are.
Right.
So be grateful for where you are.
Let
Amen.
me ask you this, Marcia. Since you're there in Florida, have you been on any of the boats and cruises and stuff like that performing?
I did those things in the past.
Mm-hmm.
In my past. If I did one now, it would have to be the biggest ship in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would want that for myself. I would want that for you. Something that's a phenomenon, in other words. Just, not usual. Yeah.
That's right. I totally understand it.
Yeah, I know too. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, why? People, we all do what we have to do. We do what we like, and no one has the right to criticize that or be judgmental of it.
Right.
I've done so much. So if I did go back to that, I would rather go back in this fashion because I've done that and I already know what to expect in that arena. And we talked about off camera, the restaurants and the lounges and the nightclubs and the this and the that. Look, I've seen the movie 3 times. So give me something that I haven't done. You know, let's take it up a notch. You have to grow. You have to continue to honor growth.
Right.
Or you become stuck in a rut, my indie artists. Stuck in a rut.
Right.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm a lot like you in that regard, because I did a project for an artist in Los Angeles in town. He needed a horn section. I got it together. I transcribed the horn parts. He hired me to do that. And he was talking about, I don't understand. I have an amazing opportunity. I even may be going on tour, and I offered this guy to buy him out. He was like, no, he was afraid of losing something locally. And I said, well, you know, some people are happy with that.
Correct.
And I said, you ask me, will you travel? I said, somebody just asked me, I want to do a Tina Turner tribute. Will you travel to Europe? I said, yes, I will. Because that's my goal. I want to travel. I want to experience new things. I want to be on different stages. So that is easy for me. But for the next person who is, if that's what you're happy with, like Gary said, you find your place, but don't criticize me because I don't want that.
That's correct.
Because you have a different goal than whenever anyone else does.
Right.
So no one, like you said, no one should criticize or judge anyone else because their side's on something else compared to your own.
Judge, you cannot judge.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
you wish them well. Say, hey, well, I'm praying for your success. You know, the hope you get that, or and just be happy for that person. But it's still because that's not what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I don't know why people get their knickers in a twist about it. So I don't get it.
I'm sorry.
I gotta
somebody just like get there before I just say, hey, well, cool, you got there, or, whatever it is that they finally got to where they wanted, at least to that point of their career or their life.
Right.
I'll say, hey, awesome, hopefully I'll find that path myself, me. Because it's something different, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed too, when somebody reaches out to the goal and they're accomplishing it, because I remember I tried to stay out of it, but the lady was like, oh, let me pick a name. I hate Susie.
What?
This is not the real name, but she was saying, I can't stand Susie.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, why? Well, Susie had moved on to her career was taking off and she was doing great. I said, but why do you hate her? Well, she thinks blah, blah. I said, but what has she done to you?
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't answer the question. So, and I made her think, that's not her that you do not like. You do not like where you are.
Right?
And you're taking it out on somebody else because they did something about it. You just learn from her. Because I tell you, every time I have someone on the show, I learn from you guys. I always learn because I'm forever a student. Because, I don't want to ever arrive to think that I've arrived and I can't be taught anything.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
Or I'm going to be upset because you're succeeding in an area that I want to succeed in. It's just like when I was single, it's like, man, look at them. They have a husband. They're doing great. I wasn't mad because they were happily married. I just waited till it was my turn, and then I got my turn.
And I was going to use a little bit of that to explain. You may be in a different place in your life than another person is.
Right.
Some people have children. Some people have a spouse that requires attention because of health reasons. Some a church home. Some people cannot be on an airplane flying their butt all over the country chasing a music career.
Right.
So they have to enjoy what they do at home. And that's it. It depends on where you are in your life.
Yeah.
But because someone else has the opportunity and it's their time, you need to stay away from that.
Yes, and celebrate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrate, because I love to see people succeeding because I know how hard it is. And when I see it, I'm going, oh, that's just awesome. That's just great. So.
Mm-hmm. Joyce, look who made it into the chat room.
David.
My ninja!
Two family members, didn't mean to cut you guys off, that are probably going, I know she's going to say something.
Shout out, girlfriend. Go
My
for it.
mom's there, Evelyn, and she's in Arkansas. She might be at the festival with her jewelry display. She's so talented.
Oh, nice.
And my sister Michaela is there.
Hey, Michaela.
And and Teacup, I think Teacup, did I meet you on the west coast of Florida? And there's Chris there. Hello, hello. Oh, David McLaurin, you walked into the room just now, David?
Yeah.
Brother David.
I call him
Right,
D-Mac.
David.
I call him D-Mac.
Nah, good one. Everybody has a name for David. What? Ninja, D-Mac.
And Jazzman. How you doing, Keith?
Mm.
And there are many others that I can't see, you guys, because you chose not to enter that chat room.
Michaela? I don't want to put my glasses on, but
My Kentucky family, Lisa and Jacques, are there. So love you guys, and everybody that I can't see. Thank you for tuning in. And you guys hear my voice all the time, but I'm laying it down now because they ask some really good questions, and you try to be acknowledgeable, but at the same time, I know what's really going on behind the scenes in the music business.
right.
See,
That's what I was telling you.
I'm in the business of music. I'm not in the music business.
Go girl.
Yeah.
Heard that.
That's what I missed about talking to Julie behind the scenes, because she was a lot like you. But she, there's some things that I will never mention on the air that she told me. There's some things
Enjoy the artist, leave the rest of it alone. Trust me.
I know. I'm just letting you guys know I will not repeat. Even though she's home in her heavenly home, I still won't repeat it.
Bless your heart.
There's some things you can share, but there's some things you just leave.
I'm just really grateful that we have internet radio, and we have people like Gary and Ray MAC that are really pushing those indie artists out there. This entire organization, this entire crew has been instrumental in a lot of our lives, and our followers wouldn't know who we were if it wasn't for platforms like this. I mean, you can put it on iTunes all day and promote yourself as much as you want, but that extra step, that extra help, that support, the education that you gain from listening to the interviews is priceless, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
And of course, Griselda, the assistant, she does. Gary does.
She's amazing.
I said, okay, here's an artist. Look at. I mean, I tell people all the time, my job is really easy. I show up on Saturday. Okay, I'm gonna try to do promo and. But if I find an artist, I send it to Gris and Gary, and they take it from there and do the rest of the work. So shout out to Gris.
We thank you so much on behalf of all of the independent artists. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's been so long since you've been on. I was down in Florida.
Make it sound like it was like 20,000 years ago.
It's been a long time downtown.
300 BC.
It was a couple of years ago when we went down to Florida to Orlando, and I had just bought another phone, and I was looking for your number. It didn't pop up in my on my phone. That's because I didn't get a call while I was down in that hot weather.
Oh, we love it.
Well, I know y'all do. She was too hot down there for me.
Well, I will ring you up when December 25th comes and I'm on the beach.
I know, right?
And you can't leave your house. Yeah, I remind y'all.
Were you born and raised in Florida?
Huh?
Marcia, were you born and raised in Florida?
No, I was born in Arkansas, and my family's shouting. Raised in upstate New York, and then Miami, Florida. So yeah, just a little bit of everything. So
That's three different cultures. You know that, right?
oh boy, we have everything on the planet here. Absolutely.
I love Arkansas. I've been going to Arkansas since I was born because my mother's sister married a man from Arkansas, and then my sister married a guy from Arkansas. So, and I'm going to be there next weekend. So everybody in the chat room in Arkansas, I'll see Arkansas next weekend.
Well, let me just tell it all because I was only born there, so I can count the number of times that I've been there. So just born there and then taken away. So I'll just let you Arkansas people tell us what Arkansas is like because I don't know.
Well, you know, I've been to Arkansas passing through.
I hear you.
Just passing through.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that Arkansas, the whole state, the population of the entire state is probably the population of Dallas or Houston, the city of Dallas and Houston. But some amazing people came out of that state.
Well, you had some good artists came out of that state, that's for sure.
Theo is for starter, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, big things come in small packages. Gives new meaning to that. So
All things come in big packages.
Our reporter came out of Arkansas.
Gary, I hear your little undercurrent laughing.
I can hear it for still.
You're gonna get me started.
You know, sometimes I hear her when she's giggling. I hear a little bit of what she's like, just like Gary does. And I was like, oh yeah, they are related for sure. Because I've only heard Gary do that before.
Thanks to Jesus.
Lord, there you go. We might well go to church now.
You know, I have a saying. When I was playing in California, that was this year in June, and a reporter from a magazine came to interview me. And when I looked at her, I said, she looks like my family. And then 2 or 3 other people thought she was me. They said, Joyce, I had to really look at her. We have the same hair, same complexion, a lot of similar features. I said, you know, I'm country. This is what we say. Where are you people from? And she told me. And we were trying to figure this out. So I finally said, oh, all I can say is that we're from the same plantation. That's all I can say.
Wow.
I had to admit that we looked alike. And she noticed it too, but you don't want to say it because it's weird. I'm just meeting you and you don't want to be weird. Like, oh, you know, you look like me.
What is so weird about that? That don't, you know, that's not weird.
No, when I tell you, she looked, you know, we both had our little natural hair going, and it was just like my hair. It was too many, because my cousin said, Joyce, she looks so much like us. I invited over to a family gathering because she just looked.
Wow.
And my husband had to look at her twice, and
wow.
See, you know, most people are so ashamed to ask the question. If it had been me, I'd have asked them straight on out.
Yeah, you would have asked. I
straight out.
Yeah, well, I just, you know, I'm so outgoing that sometimes I have to pull it back because, you know, you scare people. Everybody's not outgoing, you know.
Well, that's true too. But, boy, I tell you, somebody looked like me and looked in the cemetery, any of my family members, hell, I'm finna ask that question.
And you all wonder why they're
face.
Shoot.
You know he's gonna be in their face.
And then you wonder why they're running from you, Mac. Where you going?
Well, about I guess 4 or 5 years ago, I ran into a fella, and I was looking at him. He was looking at me. Coming up, find out we were second cousins.
Wow.
I just came up and asked, man, who are you and where you come from? Just got to talking, and we put it all together. We just meshed. And right today, he's down in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Well, I know of a story where these two teenage boys found out they were brothers. They found out they had the same daddy. Oh, that's my daddy.
Whoa. Now that's another interview right there.
The whole thing, like this, Joyce, Marcia, if you see somebody was similar in a part of your family, you should ask that question just straight on out.
But we talked. Our backgrounds didn't cross, names, last names, nothing crossed whatsoever. And that's why I said, we just came from the same plantation, and you know.
Well, the last name may not, coincide with your last, your family name, but somewhere down the line, that might be a relative of yours.
That's why I said
plantation.
The same plantation.
Weren't you listening?
Yeah, I was the same plantation.
I mean, you know the American history and you know what happened. So that's why my family is light bright, almost white to real dark as night.
You know how many families have experienced a guy and a girl becoming attracted to each other and they were related?
Right.
Especially in the South. Mm-hmm. So Ray Mac is right.
And you're right, because anytime when I didn't understand it when I was growing up in South Louisiana, our parents took extra effort to find out if you were going out with a boy, they had to know everything about him.
Everything.
And now I know. Sometimes you'll have the same last names. I say, okay, let's talk. We need to talk and make sure. And so you're right, Marcia. I didn't understand that in the beginning, but when I became an adult, I said, that's why they wanted to know everything about the boy.
Mm-hmm.
And had another family.
I want to know everything about the girl. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the boy? I want to know everything about y'all, the girl.
I'm talking about myself personally. I'm a girl, so I didn't.
Like I said, I was running. See, when I was young, I was running the streets like a dose of castor oil.
Uh-huh.
So you had to know. You want to know.
Well, that's an analogy right there.
Like a dose of castor oil.
Ew.
Chris, you ready? You're ready? Come on, let's go.
Okay.
I love interviewing on this station. I love when everybody else is interviewing. It is downright hilarious. I mean, this makes light of everything. All the lies you thought you had to tell, and being scared and concerned and worried just went out the window.
Yeah, because we're just so laid back here, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, let's sit down. We'll think to that about this. We have to try to make the artists themselves or whoever's been in it, make them feel comfortable. If they can feel comfortable, shoot, everything is up in there. Then you can talk about anything.
Took us back to our roots.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Might have married your uncle. You don't know it. I mean, that's something to think about.
Keith responds to Ray about he was like, castor oil? Goes, no words for that, Ray. And then David goes, Ray has entered the building.
Ray.
Yeah, I was in the midst of them. I was out there when I was younger. I was out there. Shoot. Well, like I said, I asked the girl, I'm trying to make sure you ain't no kin to me.
That was the first question. The second question was, how old are you?
Oh.
PMI roll. Let's go. Come on.
I had my own car when I was like 13. And but I'm telling you, I used to run them streets, run the Enid, Kingfisher, Watonga, Gary, and every endpoints between there till I left Oklahoma and went to New York. And but I'm telling you, I was running like a dose of castor oil. Boy, I had a woman in every street, in every little old town, kicking it around with them.
Wow.
So that's why they call you Big Papa.
This is getting really good now.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Look what Keith put. He goes, Grizz, he had the curl.
That Jerry curl.
but I tell you, when I was younger,
That's how you got your Jerry curl. You just got all. You were too tight to go to a hairstylist.
but Keith, I may say something to them young ladies, boy, look here, and just bust them in the top of their head. There's something never heard.
Did you say bust them on the top of their head? What is that?
I say something so smooth to them, it'd be pathetic. I have to explain it to them. You ain't right, Keith.
I know. Right?
Smooth operator.
But no, I had a ball. I really did. I had a ball when I was coming up. But I tell you, but seriously,
You other things I sing, but anyway.
when you're talking to the men, the young men and women and stuff like that, you need to know, is this a part of your family? You had to know that.
Trying to see, you know, when the Bible said plant seeds, that's not what he was talking about.
Not quite.
They wrote a song about you. Have you heard it? And Stone.
Yeah, I done heard that one.
Oh man.
I had a ball when I was coming up. Ain't no doubt about that. I had a complete ball.
He says his mouth is wide open now.
Life is so short. That is great.
Hey, Marcia, I'm so sorry. We just went on.
The little
that was
tangent there.
Yeah.
All
And,
because of Ray Mac.
Entertaining show. This was the greatest thing ever.
I'm glad to have you on the show, though.
Oh yeah.
Just love your track. And you said you released other music before this one?
There have been EPs and singles prior.
Great. I have to look you up.
Quite a bit, and it was, you know, in other countries and so forth as well.
When you going overseas, Marcia?
As soon as somebody's pocketbook is big enough.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't mean the ones on the receiving ends. I mean the ones that would initiate such a trip. So, you know, it costs money, and you want it done right. You know, you don't want to show up over there. Wait,
Sorry,
you're
Marcia.
killing me. I can't.
I'm sorry, sister.
Yeah.
It's the chat line, Marcia. I'm sorry.
Yeah, David goes Ray Barachi in full.
Now you see, Marcia, that every time I open my mouth and I say something,
You insert your foot. That's why.
I say something intelligent, boy, that it comes right back on me.
It's not necessarily intelligent. You say something Ray Barachi style.
It's a lot of love. They just love you to death.
That's right. Back when you're not here, it's boring. We miss you when you're not here.
I tuned into a show when he wasn't here. It did have a different air about it. No.
Gotta have Mac. That's why I would say Mac is back.
You really balance us out.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to say anything come up my head, but in a nice way though. Hopefully. Then they turn around.
The bomb.
They twist it up anyway. So you know what the heck.
Now, Mac, admit every now and then you drop a S-bomb, A-bomb.
Yeah. Hey, see, Joyce, that's what we do when we ain't got a script. We ain't scripted.
Oh, give me strength.
We're not scripted.
Strip it. I'm sorry. I'm like,
I said we're not scripted.
I know what time Mac got. No, I'm not going to say that on the air.
Go ahead and say it.
Well, you got up out your chair and we not only was Mac back, but he cracked too.
That was nice. Cracking.
Now you think about this.
Oh man.
Think about these early morning radio jocks like Tom Jones and Michael Basin.
5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
All the other cats, Ricky Smiley.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
half of them ain't even brushed their teeth.
Goodness.
No, you can't do it over the radio.
And probably in the road. You know, if you're gonna be on there starting at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever the time, man, look at they ain't nothing. I bet they got matter in their eyes, thick as syrup, bigger like rocks in their eyes, matter.
Okay.
Just think about it.
But since we have 5 minutes left, I'm going to turn it right back over to Gary, the host.
I was about to say goodnight, Gracie.
Yes. Oh, well, let me start out by saying, Marcia, we really, really, really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us today. Had a lot of fun with you.
Thank you.
Great. Always love the music, of course, and hopefully for the listeners out there and the viewers, if you happen to tune in late, you know, you will be able to catch the beginning of the show when we post the archive later on this evening. Probably take about an hour or two before it's actually processed, but yes, definitely. So, Marcia, why don't you let everybody know your website information, how they can get there, and all that kind of good stuff, so they can keep up with you and also get your music too.
All right, guys, if you go to marciamitchelltheartist.com, that's going to lead you to the iTunes sites and the social media accounts as well. So all in one place. I thank you for your support and for being friends also. I'm actually meeting a lot of my Facebook friends, so I'm pretty grateful for that. And just thank you. You know, you're the fuel to my fire. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, and of course, and then of course, I'd just like to tell everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves this weekend. Be safe out there, whatever you're doing. And then, Grizz, I'm not sure. Did we get somebody for next week yet, or not? We still
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm still working on. I'm gonna reach out again to another person, so we'll get that artist on for next week.
Okay. But yeah, everybody have a great weekend. Thank you again for tuning in. As always, we really do appreciate everybody, especially all our friends in the chat room. We definitely appreciate when you guys come in to help us, you know, have fun and everything to support us. But I guess that's all I have to say for the rest of the week, and I'll pass it over to the rest of everybody else. Go ahead and say what you want to say. Especially, well, I guess we might want to let Marcia also do her shout outs. She wants to. Marcia, you want to say anything else to anybody before we leave?
I don't have to add to the ones that I spoke to earlier or shouted out to earlier. But just in general, just thank you everyone for logging in. I do see a few other artists. So just knowing that support is there as well is a good feeling. Appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Well, Marcia, it's been a minute since you've been on. I tell you, I enjoyed you, and I was glad to see you.
I love you. You guys are amazing. I really do.
Look at him. Just melting.
Ray called me one time. I was in Colorado, And he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes." "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." He said, "If you need me or anybody, call." Just like that. People don't do that.
That's right.
You know, I was in a situation and I needed to know that somebody knew where I was and would offer to, to jump at the call of duty. And that was him.
Right.
Yeah, that was the only call that I received while I was there, and it was him. So thank you.
That's our Mac.
Look at you, Mac. Look at you.
Thank you.
You know, Marcia, and when my wife passed, I put out, my son told me, "Dad, you putting all these names on there on this broadcast?" Man, I said, "Well, son, there's a lot of people I know, and a lot of people know your mom." And I said, "There's gonna be people I'm gonna miss." But I got calls from the East Coast to the West Coast and everything in between. That was amazing to me. So that brought my just
It makes it
fulfill
easier for you. It makes it easier for you to process because you're not alone. It's love, and support. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like I said, some I figured, I said, well, they ain't gonna reply nothing like that, which is fine too, but every one of them replied or called. But I had so many calls, well, it doesn't make my head hurt.
Wow. God is good.
And Joe Cool got mad at me because I didn't send him. He said, "I flew out there." I said, "Man," I said, "Joe, I knew I was gonna miss somebody."
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, "That's just my bad."
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a tough time. People have to be empathetic that you forget.
Yeah.
It's a tough time. So, but anyway, I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for being in the chat line, and thanks to co-host and Marcia and the host Gary, everybody, because my jaws are hurting from laughing so much. If laughter is good medicine, I just got a good dose. I should leap out of here, fly out of here. But thanks again to everybody. I enjoyed the show, and I'll turn it over to Gris now.
All right. Well, listeners that tuned in anonymously, thank you for doing so. Please join us next week. Invite a friend. Same thing goes for the chat room, peeps. Invite a friend,
please,
to come over, please. So that way we can grow this brand, and so that way we can be out there a little bit more. Okay. And thank you for being in the chat room and for making us laugh, for one, which is always amazing when you do that. So thank you again for being here with us. Hopefully we'll get the artist that I'm thinking of that will hopefully get that person for next week. So tune in and join us next week, okay? Ciao.
All right, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Stay hydrated.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
You talking about everybody make you laugh in the chat room? I started them off.
Yeah, but it was their responses that made me laugh the most.
Yeah, I started them off, so you get that response, Gris. Thank you.
All right, good weekend, everybody. Stay hydrated, okay? It's still hot outside, so take care.
See y'all next week.
Okay,
Ciao.
everybody. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a good one.
This feeling that I have since I fell in love with you, like I had no other to be. For as long as I can see, it's so hard to imagine without you by my side. No matter where you are, my love for you I just can't hide. Never can let you go. Got this feeling you should know, and I really want you in my life. Ooh, can't you see? You're the only one for me. Should have never let you go. Now this is the time to realize what we have is justified. This relationship should never die. 'Cause you're the star that's in my night. It's so hard to imagine